god, that has got to be one of the most ridiculously funny movies I've ever seen in my life. I mean, you cannot believe how fond I was of this movie. In fact, I'm just going to tweet this movie right now. Oh, crap. I have to do the review now, so, sorry phone, but, you have just been cancelled. Hey guys, it's Daniel here, and finally summer has arrived. There's no school for over a month, nearly 2, and I can finally get on with more movie reviews and videos, so I hope to get more done, and I will get more done if I can. To start off, I am going to be reviewing the most exciting animated film I saw this year. The Mitchells vs. the Machines. Basically, the ridiculous premise of The Mitchells vs. the Machines basically follows the Mitchells, a family. They are mess-ups and screw-ups and kind of get into crazy shenanigans which make them different from other families. And we basically follow the daughter of the family named Katie Mitchell, who is basically a movie geek. Wow, I relate to this movie already. Bing bing. Who has gotten accepted into a film school of her dreams to live out with her people and just live the rest of the days in coolness. But things aren't very life and candy lighting between her and her father Rick. So Rick decides to cancel Katie's plane ticket to college and decides to take her and the rest of the family out on a road trip to her college where he'll be able to bond with her a bit more. But meanwhile, the PAL company, a company that creates like software and all that, has created a new system which includes a bunch of robots. And the head of the company, Mark, says that they are very powerful and they can control everything that you wanted to control, and he says that they can never, ever turn evil. But when you speak a cliche line like that, it does go a bit clichély wrong, because they are being controlled by Mark's evil system PAL to capture every single person on the planet. And the Mitchells get into the situation as the robots try to attack them. So basically the rest of the movie is just them trying to stop the robots, destroy all of them, and save the world. Even though their original plan was to just go on a simple road trip and fighting off robots and all that. Crazy shenanigans ensues. I mean, goddamn this movie. Now, it would be an understatement to say that I was looking forward to this movie. I could not wait to watch The Mitchells vs. the Machines for over a year. I mean, after seeing the first trailer as that huge shocking surprise in the middle of it, I'm like, wow. This movie is going to be freaking awesome. I mean, it's produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and I loved a lot of the movies that they made and produced. I mean, they're the guys that made the Lego Movie, Charlie with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, and they were sort of the producers on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, they have the most ridiculous, yet funniest child humor that I could ever see in movies nowadays, and it's definitely shown in the first trailer for this movie, although the movie was originally meant to be called Connected, but they changed the name of the movie for some reason. But still, really excited to see this film. The trailers were funny, the story takes a bunch of the cliches but pans them together to make a ridiculous road trip action sci-fi film, and the animation was very creative, and I liked how it had like 3D and 2D much together. I mean, it just had all the energy to me to be a very fun, exciting and hilarious film. That reminds me so much why I love the Lego Movie and Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. And after watching it twice, I have to say, it did not disappoint. It was so friggin' awesome. I mean, there's an animated movie that I finally watched, and I can't believe it took me this long to watch it the first time. I mean, it took me like nearly 2 months to watch it the first time, and now I've watched it the second time, and I still had a been blast watching the movie, and that's why I'm excited to talk about it. The animation for this film looks really original. A lot of the animation is based on cartoon nowadays. Like, it had the basic vibes of a Cartoon Network show or a Nickelodeon show. But they used a great mix of 2D and 3D to band it together. It's kind of like a new kind of animation that I could think of. And it's very creative and wild. The characters have some very hilarious, yet very cute and innocent designs. And during the action scenes, it looks beautiful. Oh, the comedy in this film is meta. I mean, absolutely meta. It's fast-paced, it's clever, it is witty, it's very cheeky. This film is freaking hilarious. This is fast-paced humor at its best, just like the Lego Movie. Jokes are very witty and yet very ridiculously silly, that if you miss a little bit of a moment in this film, you won't get the kind of joke that this movie is trying to get. In fact, there are a few jokes that I personally didn't understand, but I can understand it a bit more now. But that's what Phil Lord and Chris Miller do. They make really ridiculous humor for kids' films and make them stand out from the bunch. I mean, most of the humor in this film is dedicated to technology. Because, yeah, this movie is more of a technology-based centric story, and the movie uses malfunctions and phone settings and filters to make really hilarious jokes, especially Screaming Monkey joke. I won't say how they use the Screaming Monkey joke, but the 2 times that they use it, oh my god, kind of burst out laughing. I mean, I didn't burst out loud laughing, but I did burst out laughing while watching the film on Netflix, because it's just so fast and clever that it is excellent. I mean, come think of it, the comedy and the animation definitely hit home styles from some Chris Miller's past movies. I mean, the very different type of animation style definitely reminds me so much of the different animation style of the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and the very quick meta dirty humor reminds me so much of the humor of the Lego Movie. What I've really found interesting about the story in this movie is its message of technology versus family, because they find the advantages of making both sides a bit relevant in your lives. Technology may be confusing and it may be distracting for your friends, and you don't understand why they are so attached to it when you want them to hang out with you. But once you start looking more into technology and trying it out for yourselves, you can understand why your family members are more attached to them. But even though technology is very attaching, you also need to think about your loved ones more. It doesn't choose one or the other. Both of them are guilty of not being relevant in your life, and they find clever ways to make both of them relevant to someone's life, which I think is pretty original. Even though this movie is very ridiculous and all that, it's very interesting to see that type of message in this type of film. Next off, we got the characters. What I really love about these characters is how, even though they are in the situation, they are still relatable to many other characters in the world. I mean, the thing that I related to the most about the characters in the film is how the movie handles the nerdy, inspired actor slash filmmaker, fanboy or girl kind of personality that the film has, that I personally have as well, mainly included in the character of Katie Mitchell. I really liked this lead character, not just because of Abbi Jacobson's very energetic voice, like she energetically brings her to life, but because she's so relatable to me. because basically she's like an inspired filmmaker. She loves films, she collects films all the time. She even mentions that film has always been there for her during bad times and all that. And that's me. I can see myself in Kate. She doesn't just relate to me and all that. She's still a very important role in the movie. I mean, of course, that would be the case because she's the main character, but because she bonds very well with her family, particularly Rick later on, as they both get along with each other. She is very strong and determined in battle, comes up with very clever ideas, and learns to appreciate her loved ones even more, even though they can sometimes be a bit weird. Then we've got Rick Mitchell, the father of Katie. What I really liked about his character is how the movie gives him a bit of depth, because yes, he can be a bit over eccentric and crazy about making his kids like be more active and appreciate wildlife a bit more, but we do later find out why he misses life outside of technology and all that. So he also learns to appreciate Katie's passion a bit more later on. And plus, Danny McBride is surprisingly good in the role of Rick Mitchell. I mean, he's very funny and all that. I mean, a lot of people don't find Danny McBride that funny, but I find him pretty funny in this movie. He's fantastic. And plus, the bond between Rick and Katie is really good. I mean, they bond well with each other, they do make disagreements and all that, but they come to learn together and come to expect each other. The two robots that follow the Mitchell family around are hilarious, because they are malfunctioned robots and now they are helping them out. They are basically trying to act cool, but really they're not, because they're malfunctioned. And it leads to some really hilarious and clever moments with these two robots that made me giggled so much. But if I had to say which is my favourite Mitchell out of the four, I think I'd have to say Linda, the wife of the family, because she's caring, she's desperate for coolness, and it all leads to her most awesome moment at the end of the movie, which I won't dare give away. And the last thing that I absolutely loved in this movie is its third act. It was fantastic, it was thrilling, it was epic, it was cool, it was hilarious, and it was very sentimental, because the third act also gives a few sentimental, emotional, serious moments that were very well done and very impactful. I mean, the ending definitely is more serious than a lot of the things that happen in the movie. It doesn't break the cliche of, oh, it's so emotional, but then they're gonna make a hilarious joke at the end. No, the ending is more serious than we all thought it would be, and the third act is so awesome that it almost made me want to watch the movie again. Now, it's pretty obvious that I adored The Mitchells vs. the Machines. I mean, you could see me fangazzing throughout the entire review about how this movie is so hilarious and epic. But that's not to say I found nothing bad about the movie, because it does have a few little cons and problems. I mean, the first problem that I did have, it's not really that big of a problem, because sometimes she was good and sometimes she was like, is our villain. Pal, the live talking handheld phone, who is trying to take over the world and send the humans up into space. While she does have so many funny moments in the movie, I mean, that one scene where she's on the table and she's going up another raid and she's like a phone, she's like flipping all over the place, that was funny. But besides that, there's nothing really that thing around her. I mean, she's just a kind of generic bad guy who just wants to take over the world. I mean, she has a good reason for why she wants to take over the world, but she's just not very interesting. But I will admit that she does play a huge part in the movie, because basically she's being ignored, just like how Rick feels ignored from Katie, and she's technology, just like how Katie is very attached to her phone and all that. So basically, it's like Pal is like a role model for Rick and Katie's fallen relationship, which is kind of deep storytelling. But again, she's just not that interesting of a villain. I mean, she's funny, but she could have done more. I mean, she's a phone and she's the villain. You could do anything you want with it. I mean, I don't know, but you could do anything you want with it. Just try to make it a bit better. And I will admit that while the movie is really hilarious, the more and more jokes they added, the more less funny the movie gets. I mean, the movie is laugh out loud hilarious, but there are jokes that don't really hit or can go on for a bit too long, and they just don't reach the same hype and laughter as Simu Liu's did. And what really bugged me about the few parts of the comedy is how they intervene these parts during sentimental, serious moments. I mean, there's a scene later on in the movie where Katie's giving this very emotional speech about family, and I thought this speech was very well handled, the way she was describing it and the very sorrowful music that played in the background. It was so emotional and very well done. And then a comedy joke just ruined the moment. I won't say what the joke is, because while I did find this scene to be really funny, I was like, wait, what? That was funny. But it also kind of, like, bugged me, because that was such a powerful moment, and then they just turned that moment into crap. But overall, guys, despite those few problems, I can't deny that I had a blast watching the Mitchells vs. the Machines. I mean, it's fast-paced, it's intense, it's hilarious, it's so colourful, it's very different from the usual animated movies, the characters are very relatable, the third act is awesome, and it's just crazy. I mean, nothing can describe how balls to the walls crazy this film gets. It is that crazy, and I love the crud out of it. I mean, I love how crazy the film gets, and the more and more it gets crazy, the more fun I have. That I think I would watch the movie again in the future, and I will give it a 4.5 stars out of 5. It's a heck of a movie, and if you are a big fan of Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and you really love the trailer, go see the film. But anyway, I'm not the justified opinion on the Mitchells vs. the Machines. Do you love it? Do you hate it? And what is your favourite Phil Lord and Chris Miller movie? Let me know in the comment section below. More reviews to come. I'm sorry it's late, but I'm gonna try to watch more. I'm gonna watch more movies that have come out this year, and I've not seen a lot of them. So I hope I get to see them, and I'll get to review them. Anyway, I'm Daniel, reviewing movies, TV shows, doing videos, and this phone is regular. It is not going to do any harmful damage. Till then, peace out, man. That's just a display to show how normal it is.
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure.